Alright, time to get to this project now that I have plenty of time on my hands sitting indoors. This is a Rancor monster I picked up at a, I don't know, I think it was a garage sale for $1. And I don't know, something got on him. I attempted to start to repair him, but I think a chemical got on him, and it was sitting in this bucket, and it was all gooey, and I managed to stop whatever was eating this plastic. When I got home, it was still very gooey at that time, and the plastic was completely eaten through here by whatever was eating through it. I have no idea. And all through here, I literally had to carve out the plastic to stop it from. So anyway, you can see how glossy it is right here. That was being eaten. So anyway, I mean, the mouth still works. I'm going to see if I can preserve that integrity. And I got to fill this hole. That's what I'm going to do. Alright, I have my weapons here. I got a couple small files, hobby files. We're going to get to that previous filler that I put in there about, I don't know, a year ago. And we're just going to work this out so I can rethink my patch here. And I'm thinking a little bit of fiberglass cloth might do it, because that's really strong. Yeah, to fill this entire hole here with a filler, that's not going to work, because it's just going to be able to punch through. So, oh, I can't wait to break out the airbrush on this guy. Alright, so what I got here is a little screen from like a screen door, and we're going to use that to form all the way to the edge. What I did was I cut a little piece out, still too big, but on this edge here, because it's so sharp, when you cut it, I folded it over, as you can see there. So that will be our edge here. And I just basically want to get it to where it meets here, just to that edge there, and just to that edge there. Alright, I kind of got this formed exactly where I want it. Gives me a really good idea of what I have to do on this side. But I will do this side first, and I'm going to set this in place with some 2-part epoxy. And yeah, this epoxy smells like hair permanent. I guess what I mean to say is, man, does it stink! It certainly does. But the epoxy will allow us to keep going with our work quickly. Okay. Gives me an idea. I'm sure that tape's gonna stick right to that epoxy, but I think at this point that's the least of my worries. Question is, will I have enough pressure? I think so. Now we just wait. Alright, I patched that arm with some screen. Hopefully you can see that. I got that entire hole patched there, and our mouth is still working. Alright, let's mix up some mud. That's probably okay. Well, let me get a little more. Air on the side of, let's not have to make another batch for the first coat. You know what I'm saying? Something tells me I should trim that down a little bit. There we go. You see that hardener? That's what you're looking for right there. That's probably too much. But how come I'm not surprised by that? Then we want to stir this till it's pink. And this stick is too small. I'll use this one. And this stuff is going to dry quick, so I used way too much hardener. So now we got to work fast. Do this, but I have to work fast because I goofed up. Alright, I'm going to take this outside with a Dremel rotary tool and a sanding drum, and I'm going to knock this down real quick and see what we got. I'll be back. Alright, I've got this kind of shaped. I'm going to go throw some primer on it and see exactly where we need to go from here, because the primer will really help you see where you need to go. Alright, I got this painted, well primed, and I see I got to do a little more work here. I got to be careful touching this thing. There's the arm side. I could do a little more work there, right in this area right there. And there's the leg side, which I think I'm happy with, because once I start painting and dry brushing, this thing is going to get a whole lot better looking. So yeah. Alright, this is 2 days later, because, well, I'm just now getting around to getting back to it. And my dry brush color is going to be this green right here. And I'm just going to dry brush the whole thing. In fact, I'm going to dry brush everything, unless I need to break out an airbrush. Alright, I'm about halfway through with the first dry brush. And I mean half of this Rancor monster. As you can see, that's just the first coat of dry brush on one side. Just giving you an update. Alright, so we have both sides painted here. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to break out the airbrush. I think I need to dry brush a little more right there. A couple little spots, but I am going to break out the airbrush with a darker color and start doing some blending. I have the compressor going. I double face this guy to this turntable so I can just keep going. Let me get you a little bit better. So yeah, he's double face taped to this turntable, and I'm hoping that he will stay. The idea is that it'll give me the ability to move his arms as I'm going.
Drum, 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 drum. It's a mean old bowl, they comb and shine. Red, red wine, so mellow and fine. Come home at night with a swing in the head. Reach for the pillow, Mr. Hold on bed. Drum, drum, drum. Gin is a drink so mellow and slow. Get a little taste and you want some more. Start out walking, you just can't go. Reach for the north, miss the hold on door. Drum, 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 stand on the bar, dusk till dawn, and that's where you are. Out at a party, getting groovy and tight. Come home, forget to kiss your baby goodnight. Drunk, 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 drunk. I keep on drinking, takes all my gold. Every morning my head is sore. Whiskey, gin, wine's so goddamn fine. I'm gonna try it just one more time. Drunk, 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 drunk.
Alright, we're going to let that dry up just for a little bit. And the next time we come back, we're going to be doing a lighter dry brush of a brown. I'm not exactly sure what shade I'm going to use. As I was going through here, I've decided I'm going to paint all of these horn spikes, whatever, bone spurs you want to call them. I think I'm going to paint them the same as the nails. And after all, it is a custom, so I can do whatever I want with it. Let's have a look. Let's spin it around here. Alright, I decided I'm going to go with like a light caramel color. I'm not exactly sure what this color is, but it is going to be a light caramel. I'll use very little of it. And for my dry brushing this time, I got a slightly smaller brush because I'm not covering an entire red area like we started with. So, that being said, what do you say we get on with it? Again, like I said, I'm not going to do this whole model dry brushed in this caramel color. Just here and there, certain highlights, maybe along the front of the head here, and some of these high ridges, just to give it a little more life. And, you know, instead of just a big, you know, like when this toy was new, it was a toy, it was all molded in one color with a splash here and there for teeth. And but seeing how this was a repair, I mean, this is a blank palette to me, so I can do whatever I want to it. Alright, I'm going to give you a quick update as I'm moving along here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can see we're just dry brushing lightly. Got our arm up here done. Got the inside of the arm done there. See, the idea is your color transitions when you're dry brushing, you want them to be as subtle as possible, as if it were real. So you start to get your layers of color, and you really can't distinguish. It started with red, and then it was dry brushed with green, and then airbrushed with a black, and you know, it just kind of flows the way it should. And that's the idea. That's what we're looking for here. So, all right, what do you say we have a quick look here? There's our monster coming along. Of course, none of our detail work is done. His eyes are not painted. His nails are not painted. But let's have a spin around here and take a look at how far we've come. Alright, we have all of our white highlights in. Toenails, fingernails, these bone spurs, whatever you want to call them. And we are going to come back. I got those eyes dotted with some white right there. We're going to come back when that dries, and we are going to dirty up all of those white spots that I put on there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim out all of this white close to the skin with a darker, much darker color. The color we're going to be using is this very dark brown right here. Now this is a different medium. This is an enamel. Everything so far has been an acrylic, but that doesn't matter because in the end, it's all going to get a clear coat. So the sheens should not really matter. See if I can get you down here from my first one. I'll show you my first one, and then I'll move on. Check this out here. See how this is going to work. Some of this paint is very old, but it works. I don't need it to be very dark. I just need it to cut that brisk line between the white and the skin, so we can make it just a little darker. And then we're going to come back and dry brush with a lighter color, darker than the white, lighter than the transition paint that I'm using right now. Alright viewers, we've got all of the white kind of yellowed down. You see the bone spurs here, they're all kind of yellowed along the back side here. And of course the fingernails, the teeth. So now my last detail I have to work on are the eyes. So I'm going to have to find a really small brush. This one is much too large for that. Alright, for the eyes, we're going to go with this yellow gold here. Let me pop the top so you can see. It looks more yellow than gold, but it's got a slight metallic to it, which is kind of nice. These are called metallique. And so that's what we're going to do. And no, I could not find a really tiny brush, but I did find this toothpick, which may work just fine. And so, again, this is also an acrylic product here, this guy. And so, well, you know what, let me work from the cap. It's probably a little easier. And then I will try to focus in on that. If you can see his eyes at all. Hoping you can. Maybe the lighting is not so good in here. We'll be taking it outside here in a minute because we're going to be giving it a clear coat so we can protect our work. Guys, we're outside. Just got a clear coat on him. Good look at him. Walk around here nice and slow. But let's have a good look at him. All of our hard work is paying off right now. Our eyes. Very nice. I'll take some photos of him. And more than happy to add him to my collection. Very, very cool. That's one I saved from the garbage can. Very nice. Very cool. I'll take some photos.